We ended up doing a long open mat, but we've got some of that, and I clipped out a bunch of that footage. So let's check that out. 438. Dude, it really may be. I feel like we've been doing this for so long. Where's our footage? Here we go. Josh, when are you going to train, man? Your finger's looking whole again. See, me and Cooper. Got Ronnie and Braden, Joe, and Luke, maybe? Where's the speed? There we go. It's just a quick duck under. Get behind Coop. Yeah, didn't you take all your stitches out, Josh? Aren't you pretty much good as new again? Cut shaped like a cut. Imagine that. Doing a little bit of foot wedging to extract my leg from Cooper's half guard. Luke doing his normal forward pressure, barreling through on Joe, pinning Joe's knees. Yeah, he's keeping the right knee pointed away as he tries to scoop behind. I bet he probably tries to step over here soon. I think he's been liking just going straight to... Actually, since he's prepping for comp, maybe he won't be looking to just step straight into mount. Maybe rack up points first. But here we see him actually switching to a cross ashi, or an attempt at it. But Joe is doing well to keep his right leg from getting isolated. Okay. I mean, honestly, for as deep and crazy as that cut was, the fact that you're almost back is pretty astounding. Looks like I'm playing with a crossbody ride here on Cooper. And for anybody training this week, Braden and Gavin will be competing in Good Fight out near Raleigh this Saturday. I think Kurt's boys as well. So if you see them, give them some good rolls, give them some pointers. If you see anything to point out, we'll help get them ready, just like we've been doing for Luke, who's also competing Saturday, but in Charlotte at the PBJJF competition. So that'll be exciting. Hopefully that adult division fills out a bit. Joe looking to get a little sneaky there. Sunday shower day for me. Okay, I will. We will. Pulling that wall up really well. Yeah, dude. Right here. Solid. That ball's not going anywhere. So Joe kind of baiting the single leg, it looks like an asshole. Luke takes it, and Joe immediately goes to roll for this probably knee bar entry, I think is what he's thinking here. The problem with that, the main problem I'm seeing here is the way he's rolling. He's only intending on getting the single leg for the knee bar rather than both of the legs that will restrict Luke's movement if he does capture it. That's just kind of a tactical error, first off. But then second, as far as like actually finishing the move goes, his head's pretty far away here. Like as he goes to invert, he's not really underneath Luke at this point. So it's going to be a reach, and you know, Luke's probably would pretty easily sprawl out of this if Joe even did get a hand on the knee. But he doesn't. He's a little too far out for the grip. Tries to get to outside ashi. It looks like he gets to outside ashi. Don't know how much he has that leg under his control yet. Luke's pretty well based at this point. Switching to 50-50, where Luke is fairly comfortable. Joe now switching to pretty much purely on defense. Not doing anything to separate Luke's legs. There he gets his own heel exposed. Yeah. That's what happens. Who would do that? Who would pick a different letter, like an L or like an uppercase I or something? It's so silly. Quick first round. I don't think Andrew and I rolled for a few weeks. He came at me with the same usual forward pressure, which was always intimidating. You gotta like kind of get that under control before you make stupid mistakes. That was a fun little scramble. What happened there? So snaps me down, go out the side. I don't even know if I had anything really here, so kind of takes me off balance with this over the back grip. Tosses me by, quickly get up and just try to negate any sort of close grip he makes around my waist. Now working to a guard pass. Ronnie with the big toss. Oh, the double? Wait a minute. The double on Luke, did I miss it? It was right at the end. I'd say it's pretty legit. I mean, it's not, it's not like some crazy high dynamic throw or anything, but like lower the level. Still a little, I don't know if you heard my earlier comments about your rolling knee bar entry. Hips just a little too far out. Like you're gonna use a lot of your back to finish this move, which isn't the best, but it looks like maybe you caught Luke a little off balance. His head's way out in front of his feet. He goes to brace on the mat. Good follow through, getting the knees by, right into a guard pass. I mean, I'd call that legit. That was solid. Quick enough, I missed it the first time around. I know you were super stoked about that. Let's look at it. Regular speed. So off the hand fight. Being heavy on the head. Yeah, it's pretty simple, man. Just good level change, gathering up the knees, and running by those legs. Good stuff. Yeah, for sure, man. And then Ronnie saw what you did to Luke, said, "That's my coach you're messing with." With the head and arm, it's a big throw. What up, Coop? Yeah, I mean, on your shots, man, just remember, like, something that'll help tremendously and not wear you out as quickly is making sure you're getting under the hips. You don't want to work from far outside. That's just invites heavy sprawling and just wasted movement. Looks like Coop and Sawyer working some open guard step in there, but Sawyer didn't want to engage. What about Kyle here? So we got Luke working from bottom half. I think we saw this last week from him too, like this wrist isolation. It's always a bad sign when your wrist hits the mat. In many cases, it doesn't even need to get to the mat. Luke will look for it from that bottom half. It was either Luke or Peters we saw doing this, where he got the wrist under control and just went full focus on it. And now Luke isn't even switching out of half guard. He keeps it. Kyle tried to straighten the arm out, but it wasn't enough. Cardio's lame, dude. Damn, Kyle almost got a good little outside trip there. He did that same sort of approach against me a few weeks back, where he just starts saying, pressing forward, throwing those legs in left and right, alternating until he gets purchase on one of your legs. See, inside step, outside, like a Casoto. And Luke addresses it quickly with a low single. How'd you get that takedown on Sawyer? Let's see. I imagine he was standing and then you put him on the ground. That takedown, you sat, and then it looks like, I'd call it more of like a sweep since you kind of hit the ground first. His legs are, like, he doesn't have a good base at all right now. Both of his legs are on the left side of your body, so I think your upper body connection here is what takes him over. So you kind of see he's pretty off balance at this point. You just wrap him up. He intelligently pulls his hand away so he doesn't crack his bones on the mat. See, Joe really wants this arm. Ronnie really doesn't want you to have it. So, let's see. I won't say anything yet. Yeah, for this armbar, like, you're not... So, Joe, you don't really have... I don't know when you lost it, but you don't really have a hook on that arm. Let's see. You take it out here for some reason. That's what I want to see. Peeling at the wrist. Yeah, then right there you take it out. Maybe just to have a more secure base. But now, like, there's really no reason that Ronnie has to move her arms at all from here, and she could just kind of like slowly work her way out of this. There's nothing. You don't have anything trying to isolate one of those arms at that point. But now you're in on trying to take the back. Yeah, good. Someone needed to. Hit 3 or 4 times and you hit it. I have no clue what it was. I mean, you're Coop. It really just looks like you're kind of just sitting and pulling him over. Like you're getting just like a rotation on his shoulders, and then essentially tripping him. If he can't step his leg, then he's just gonna go over. So here I'm in on an armbar on Andrew. Don't remember how this went. Luke in on a triangle / armbar threat to almost an Americana. Did Andrew Brazilian tap me there? I don't know. Hand goes to my knee. Nah. We'll let him have it. So, Coop, I would, I don't want you to get too comfortable doing this. I'd rather see you initiate this standing rather than just sitting. Like someone with, I'm not picking on Sawyer, but like, someone with a really solid base, maybe a wrestler, might not fall for this quite as easily. So like this is the makings of many takedowns, just getting your opponent stepping. They can't step because you've blocked it and you get the takedown. But the fact that you're sitting before this, I think poses if you do it this slowly, I think it poses some vulnerabilities. You can fall and pull with this and do like a sacrifice. But I wouldn't want to see you just sitting and letting it, you know, sitting and then slowly doing that like in a comp or anything. I mean, it's fine, like, accident or not, who cares if it works. Just got to figure out a way to make it more reliable and close up any holes you have in it. And I think the speed that you're doing it at and just how you're setting it up poses some vulnerabilities. Ronnie trying to smash by the guard here. Is this where she was saying your hip was not posing any real strength advantage? Kyle just about got his arm taken there. Braden with the quick guard pull. See Joe and Gavin. So working from the 4-point stance can be tough, or working against a 4-pointer can be tough. As you get to here, like one thing there are many ways to handle this, I'm sure. Not that I'm the most proficient at it, but hooking a leg and pulling them out in this direction can be of some use. What I don't want to see is any seatbelt gripping, which Gavin doesn't do here. Joe hits a little roll here before Gavin can make any upper body grips. But if you're gonna try anything here, like if you go for getting leg hooks in, anything like that, just make sure you're using double underhooks. That way you don't slide off the top of your opponent, over their head in this direction. It's a really, really easy thing to do, especially when you're just so used to getting a seatbelt grip when you attack someone's back when you're behind them. Brandon and Ronnie over here, and then Cole and Mitchell, or Luke and Mitchell. Quick get up from Braden. How did Ronnie get to the ground? Braden pull? No. Oh, okay. So Ronnie gets okay, so as Brandon sets up his single here, Ronnie sets up her own front headlock, and then I really like the grip she uses. You'll see as she comes around, she's not trying to guillotine him. She's using that underhook. I think they call it like a cow catcher in wrestling. That sort of deep underhook to get the turn and take Brandon straight to his back. Always a good option if you feel like the guillotine just isn't there, or the chin is too tucked and you're just not gonna get it, and you just want to get it to the ground. Braden trying to banana split me. I don't know, after Steven's recent romance with banana splits, I'm not keen on having them done to me anymore. There we go for the arm triangle. Ronnie's really digging on this arm. So you're in a tough spot here, Brandon. Just like, yeah, I want to see. I thought you were about to shrimp your hips away and just get your knees pointed back into Ronnie. She's done a great job of wedging underneath your back at this point to keep you from turning towards her. And then now with this 2-on-1 grip she has on your arm, it's going to be hard to dig yourself out of that hole without getting your arm safe first. She's really riding behind the legs to keep you turned away. So if you guys roll with Brandon or Braden and Gavin this week, make them work through their transitions. I think that's something I was really trying to focus on with them, was like shutting down their first, maybe second attempt on subs and seeing what they get to, and not just seeing what they go for, but how quickly they get there, and how well they set it up. I think that's going to be, you know, their speed and their technical proficiency, I think is what's going to carry them at the sub only comp that they're going to do. So I'd like to make sure that they're getting as much work there as they can. Never had the banana split at cookout. Out coyed, is that? It's weird. Looks like out cold, but it's out coyed. Some more heel hook work here. Now he's got the heels in a good spot, right at the buzzer. The only reason I'm able to roll with these is because his knees are pointing in the direction that I'm trying to roll. When we get to here, the knees stay, you know, pointed up and moving. It isn't until he can hang his weight on the outside of me like this. Contrast, like, keep this picture in mind where his feet are. Contrast that to here. And to, let's see. Yeah, I guess we just got the one out of it. Here I can keep rolling and I can keep relieving the pressure of the heel hook. Here, it's going to be a lot harder for me, especially if he keeps his knees pointed opposite the direction I'm trying to roll. Yeah, man, you can't fully enjoy ice cream and custard until you've had just days and days of chicken and rice, man. And then when you fully get to have it, you understand why the chat always goes to that. Because it's just something special, Coop. Similar take. I think I did this exact same takedown on Luke on the last stream. Just cutting the angle, picking the knee, and then putting him over. Here, he did a solid job recovering my leg and disrupting my ability to pressure forward and stay balanced. I didn't want to go for the same thing again, though. Because I figured he'd have an answer for it. So, kind of fake it. And then working to get to like a crucifix position. Like a rear crucifix, but to no avail. And I think we kind of stall out here for just a few seconds. He couldn't really get up, and as long as my stomach and chest was behind his head, like I couldn't get up because he had my leg, and he couldn't get up because I would not let his head move. So we kind of just hit a stalemate, and I had to slowly shimmy out and try to get the best of the transition, which I did not do. Yeah, but look what happened to Cole. He's made a muscle because he doesn't partake of custard and ice cream and cookout shakes as much as Josh does. Right? Josh, Cole, any thoughts on that? And was this Andrew? Andrew looking sneaky coming out the back, just about getting into the legs, but misses it. God, I did not want that takedown. Luke shelving the leg, trying to get by with the body lock. All right, Joe, let's see. You lose the arm again. Tough, tough. Oh, yeah, you didn't get the body side leg over. Andrew took good advantage of that, though. I mean, look at the hip height he gets as he bridges out and tries to get his arm free. Well, as he does get his arm free. Then here he's not really in any significant trouble. I mean, if I couldn't train because I cut my finger like Josh, I might sit and get depressed and eat an entire box of ice cream sandwiches too. Jackson trying to be front and center for his dad's demise or rise, whichever happens. Oh, well, then there's no excuse. I only do 2 p.m. coffee on the weekends, man. After training. Now that we have an espresso. Looks like nothing too fancy to end the round. All right, Brandon and Cooper, Daniel and Joe. Daniel laying on heavy pressure, heavy forward pressure, and using his head to keep Joe's posture broken down. Setting up the Kimura grip, getting behind Joe here. You guys move. Was that a tap or? I don't know what happened there. You know, I get it. Ooh, Brandon on a triangle. But cutting the wrong way, Brandon. So I'm assuming that you really wanted the oh wait, let's see, hold on. Because you've got a front triangle here, but you're digging with your right arm when you should be digging with your left arm. If you're going to finish the front triangle, okay? If you're gonna dig on this side, that's fine, but I'd rather see you switch your legs to the wrong way triangle. There's not really a good reason for you to like dig on this side like that. So it looked like just a little tactical error there. Maybe gave Cooper a little bit of space to sneak his head out. Wrist lock me. That was, oh, is that what that was? Jordan and I haven't gotten to train in a minute. So I just get pretty much smashed and go on defense for the next 3.5 minutes. Josh would probably play NHL with you, but he'd be the guy who'd be like, wait, what's offsides? Wait, did I go offsides again? And he would just keep messing up the gameplay. It wouldn't be any fun. Daniel falling back on the straight ankle, but no real hip control here yet. Belly down, bad news. Yeah. Yeah, Joe, I think you could have gotten out of that if you may have had to be a bit more mobile at this point. Like, I don't know, it's hard to say because I feel like you could have booted into that and then maybe try to take top position there, but that's tough. That's a tough one. Without seeing Daniel's grip, it's hard to say what kind of agility you had. Are you talking to me, Josh? I would say, no, I wouldn't. I would say something way worse to your face. So let's see here. I think I tried to do the over the back grip on Jordan. I was feeling somewhat successful because I wasn't letting him get the crossface back, at least at first. Probably hits a big swim here and then gets it. But I was making it pretty difficult, but he was really pressuring around and broke me back down to where I just couldn't make use of the grip. I didn't have a decent leg position in to fully get the escape. I'm going to try to pull my hips underneath him now. I don't think it works anyway, but see me getting my butterfly hook into place. Okay, yeah, and he counters with the headlock position. Just could not move him for the life of me. Let's see how Coop gets on Brandon's back. Brandon just kind of turtles up here. Gives Cooper the back exposure. I mean, yeah, people just kept showing up. I think everybody was expecting an open mat, like the 1 o'clock open mat, and no class. I don't know. I told Luke I told Luke multiple times I didn't read his email, so. I skimmed it. I found the Cliff Notes. Alright, so Coop digging on this hand fight here. Brandon gets safe, turtling up. Goes for the double. You don't need to do that flip, Brandon, to work this. I think you're the one initiating that. Yeah, Cooper's not really pulling you over. Just as you get here, since your head is stuck on Cooper's right side, once you put him down, I would try jumping just to like to this side, basically either big, a big step or just a hop over Cooper's legs to try to get cross-side on him. I don't know. I mean, best thing that could maybe come out of that front flip he did was like a leg entry, or even failing that, like working back to a guard. But I would just, if I had his two legs like that, I would just try to pass his guard and work my way up to the pins. Right. Daniel with the over tie. What makes you wonder if Luke drives an Altima? Gavin getting fancy over here. So as I turtle up, he puts himself into a 3/4 position, 3/4 mount. Hits a super quick rolling entry into the back. That was really, really nice. To an immediate strangle. What happened with these two? It's just moving from the wall. Nice quick guard passing, like a quick redirect from Daniel to get around Luke's legs. Nothing there for Luke. Luke's in a bit of trouble here. If that arm gets extended, his shoulders are pinned. This is where you start to see Americanas actually being dangerous. When you could pin both arms, or pin the shoulders to the mat, and then really go on the attack. Looks like Daniel has other plans though. Oh, good sweep from Luke. Keeps that leg trapped. And here we go. As Daniel, So as Daniel gets his hips up, he narrows his base a little bit, trying to point the knees back in towards Luke. Luke captures that far leg, and that gave him just the vulnerability he needed to put Daniel to his butt. Yeah, he's only a blue belt. Unless he wears his purple rash guard, then he's a purple belt. That's why I never bought ranked rash guards. I was like, I'll just buy all black stuff that isn't ranked. And then when I get my black belt, then I'll buy ranked gear. And I won't have a bunch of old rash guards that I shouldn't be wearing anymore. What's up, James? All that said, though, our ranked gear is pretty sick, and I do highly recommend you guys get it. I think if I started now at this school, like if I was a white belt now at the school, I'd probably buy ranked gear, but all the old stuff I ever had was just like plain black stuff. Big head push, trying to keep Daniel from coming around. Nice. Yeah, I did kind of say that, didn't I? Don't buy ranked merch unless it's from Alpha Fitness. Use promo code Jameson. No, I agree. Purple's a way more styling color. Brown's all earth tone and boring. Ooh, good knee pick from Andrew. And Braden on a crucifix looking, I thought he was attempting the Americana. Oh, Andrew on the knee bar. Way to stay safe, Brandon. Diving for the back take. But I didn't have enough of the back exposed to really make that work. Joe looks like he's going to have a fun match with Jordan. Off to a good start. There we go. Actually, all kidding aside. Good entry on the leg. Down in this, like, reverse ashi. Let's look at that one more time. This is a much better example of what I was trying to do against Jordan earlier. Like, it's such a small movement, but Joe, you could see like you're the one dictating where Jordan's hips go here. Like you're starting to point your knees towards the wall. That brings his hips over, and that's what makes this transition a lot easier, right? I was having a hell of a time trying to scoop myself underneath Jordan, so it wasn't quite as smooth as that, but it's good thinking. Where's Andrew on here? Got this Achilles grip with an outside heel hook, or I'm sorry, an outside Ashigarami Achilles grip. But the hands are pretty low here, right? Even if you lock this up, hands are a little low. There's not much, like the mechanics just aren't there. This is a good pause. Toes are kind of pointing across. You really want them pointing more up in this direction. That's gonna get the favorable alignment you want. But now this is a good switch. Get out of here. This is a good switch into the heel hook. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you should have given up on that just yet. But yeah, this presents just a good example of like the kind of a dilemma you can put your opponents in. I mean, this is something I often use when you guys try to Achilles lock me. I'll point my toes across the back instead of like, you know, I'll still boot, but I'll turn my toes inward depending on the situation. When I do that though, I do give some level of heel exposure. And if you guys make quick changes to that, then now I have a whole nother problem to address. Your grip here, this wrist to wrist grip isn't a bad idea. You're just like, you're not in a good enough spot to get enough breaking pressure on this. The way Brandon's like on his right side, I want to see you more facing this direction. There just really isn't. I don't see any real braking force coming from this. I'm trying to think if you could. So you switch your grip here. You might be able to do something with this if you. I need you straightening your back out, and I need you kind of rotating your body in this direction. We're gonna elongate the leg, like the braking mechanics of a belly up outside heel hook versus more of a belly down are slightly different. Alternatively, you could possibly switch to a knee bar here, I think. Like a kind of a heel hook grip knee bar to put the pressure on Brandon. So a few options, even though your what I'll just call your resting position wasn't like ideal for a heel hook. May have been able to get something out of that. Now you're looking in a better spot. Brandon's not addressing the feet, which he needs to do. You gonna transition, Cole? You on Trenbolone would be like hilarious though. Not that I'm encouraging it, but that would be funny if you just came in, you had like Trenkov, you were just a darker shade of red, but also just like throwing Luke around or something. Still being tapped, of course, but he's as big as James. Hell yeah. Twice as many roids. Alright, what did Joe do here? Joe, you really wanted that rolling entry that day, huh? I don't see it here. Just because like I'm not really chest to back with you. I'm not even sure what you were trying there, to be honest. Like, I don't know if I did that to you or if you cartwheeled into that yourself. Really trying to hang my weight on you here. I feel a moment. What's up, Deathcore? I feel a moment of opportunity here with the snap. You know, really hanging my weight, and then you can barely see it, but I give a little bit of a reprieve right before the snap. Watch my hand right here. It's coming up. Yeah, right there. You can see like the wrist movement. So from here, take the pressure off. Pop the pressure back on real fast. It's only innovation when it works. Should make an innovator badge for the chat. Like Austin gets one, even though he's never here anymore. In the chat, that is. Doing stupid schoolwork or something, probably. So there was in a good position to either enter cross ashi or work for the pass. This is a spot I really like to get to from half guard, where I have my shin up across the waist. I have the hook like a scoop grip on the top leg, or the leg that I'm facing. And all I'm really looking for is either for the legs to come uncrossed, which normally, you know, they often are crossed just because they're your opponent's typically trying to hold your leg in place. If they do, and you can just create a little bit of a gap, you can spin the leg and enter right into cross ashi. If they open the legs, you can just back step out and work for your guard pass. Good job getting the knee back in though, and taking it away from me briefly. Long setup for that shoulder push, and you still almost got me with it. Now I really, really try to go on the the attack on this knee bar, which I don't get. So the toe hold. And I've just lost the angle completely. I don't have a knee bar opportunity here, but I can switch back to outside ashi. I'm just in this like a really similar spot to what we just saw Andrew at with Brandon, where I just don't have, even if I do get the left leg isolated, I don't have a good enough position to affect a break. Here, we're a little bit different with my leg position now has changed from this, where's a good spot? So right here, I'm in outside ashi, right? My crossed ankles are outside Joe's body. Here, though, they come over to more of an inside ashi position. The legs are over the hip now. This is, a very, very deep reap. And this is going to be a hard spot now for Joe to hide his heel. So while it may not be an ideal inside ashi, even, like, maybe he could get out of this if he rolls real hard with it. But I've got my elbow on the outside, or really behind Joe's leg here, so he's gonna have a hard time turning to hit it, to like roll with this. And then my inside ashi leg position is what's giving me really, really good heel exposure. So I guess back to where we saw Brandon there. Or I'm sorry, where we saw Andrew there. From here, this could be an opportunity, Andrew, for you to shift your hips out here and bring your legs inside to an inside ashi position. I think I mentioned it last week. Like, that's kind of it's a spot that puts a lot of pressure on the knee. So like, I'd like for you guys to be careful with that. If you're going to play with it, make sure your partner is open to it and you guys trust each other. Notice I don't really put any sort of tension on this with Joe. All right, Coop, relax, man. God, you're smart. We get it. What college class are you taking? Aren't you like 14? Ooh, Mitchell with a huge reap on Daniel here. Look, let me have my knee back. Okay. 15? All right. What college classes do you take? Like quantum physics or linear algebra or something? Man, don't give me that letter number BS. I've been out of college forever. Who you calling an idiot, Cole? You can say that to my face. Alright, now I'm getting smashed in north-south, and I think there was a pretty legit threat here at one point. At least I was concerned. Mitchell should be concerned here too, letting his arm and head get caught like this. I see Daniel being nice here, but yeah, I think if you did that bridge 5 seconds earlier, Mitchell would not have been able to stop it at all. I don't know what any of those classes are, Cooper. Daniel with a similar sort of front headlock, outside knee pick takedown that I was hitting earlier. This was fun with Brandon. So from this single leg, Brandon did an excellent job not accepting the trip. He jumps over my leg repeatedly. And I say, all right, I'm going to just enter your legs then, instead of trying to hit the takedown. Let's see if we can. So I get the leg up high. 1, 2. He's still jumping. Like, all right, cool. Finnish math? Like math from Finland? All right, so we'll look at this for Brandon. All right, this is the Achilles lock. I think I've showed him a few times. We've talked about it a little bit on the stream. But here's the difference with this one. So Brandon and I talked about this later, I think after this match. Leg position is a key part of any sort of Achilles lock, right? You often learn either stepping on like your opponent's inner thigh and like spreading their legs out, like pushing their leg away as you kind of stretch your body out. That's one of like the first ways you learn how to do it. There are versions where you step on the hip instead of the inner thigh. This version I really like due to the fact that it is very closely related to Irimiyashi, which you guys all like to shut down. So if you'll recall, I pulled Brandon into that right here. Now, anybody who doesn't want anything to happen to their leg is going to push this foot to the floor and then try to scoot their hips over. When they do, I move it to an inside butterfly position, but under their leg. So let's see if we can find a good view of that. Right there, you can see my toes are pointing out. It's not in a good spot yet, but it's now under him. And you'll see my knee. Yeah, as soon as my knee pokes out here, that means my foot is probably in the position I want, where my shoelaces are on the inside and underside of Brandon's right leg. And then my leg that was to the like a regular butterfly position, you know, the inside leg on the Ashigarami, I kick that to the outside, and in a better example, you would see me back heeling much more strongly. But I'm really focusing on my grip right now because Brandon's threatening it. I would like to see me pulling this heel back a bit more, but now with that butterfly, that weird butterfly hook on the underside of the leg, and then pulling my heel back, I can get a lot of pressure on the ankle in like the Achilles lock that you get from other variations where you're stepping on the leg and all that stuff. You'll see right here, I take my chin really close to my hands. So I start to stretch out, that's where I get the tap. So I really wanted to hit that on Brandon just because I've seen him trying to go for that, or go for this, you know, this submission, and I want him to become familiar with that that finish. And afterwards he mentioned how it was definitely a tight one. Brandon, you're in the chat. You know what I'm talking about. Sitting there lurking. Daniel taking top position. Riding really high up to the shoulder line to take Jordan's legs out from the equation. Brandon puts me in 50-50, which is not advisable. Just happened here. Oh, all right, Daniel gets to the north-south choke. Nice. That was a quick one. I like watching these two wrestle. Good sprawl. That double attempt just kind of peters out. And Jordan pops the head out. Big bridge from Daniel for the sweep. Pretty classic. I mean, it's a half guard Upa style sweep. So as much as I talk about how, like, I'll teach Upas during Mount Week, I'll talk about how they don't necessarily work all the time because they're the first thing everybody learns, and they're the first thing everybody learns to shut down. But definitely not something you should forget about. And, throw it in from time to time. You start to get a feel for when your opponent is off balance enough, when he's favoring a hip too heavily or whatever. You could hit him pretty well. Nice wrestle up from Brandon. So we got me and Mitchell. All right, Luke and Daniel again. Danny and Joe. So pretty much just we're guard passing with Mitchell here. And it's all heavily focused on just controlling his feet, controlling his legs, keeping them pointed away from me, Joe. Man, I'm glad to see you trying to work this thing repeatedly. I just want to tighten some shit up with it. Like you just kind of roll a little too far away. You really got to commit to getting underneath your opponent. Probably the biggest reason being, if you do get the knee, right, or the leg, you want, with a knee bar or or any transition from there, you want really deep like a hip to hip connection. So when you're hitting these rolls from outside, you're not setting yourself up for that at all. Now Danny's just gonna crank you by the head and arm and put you where he wants you. Good off bouncing though. This is, Joe and I talked about this a little bit after class too. When people are going in on like darces and all this stuff, like here, this is a good spot for Danny to make a darce attempt. especially if, like me, you often go for like tight waist grips. Danny loves it when you do that because you're isolating your own arm and you give him a very, very easy darce. But a good way to try to shut that down is getting him moving in this direction, right? With either the pull of the tight waist, or if you take your hand to more of a grip around the leg, just below the butt. If you buck him in that direction, his arm has to come out or he's going to face plant. And if he does face plant, that's fine. It doesn't mean his darce is going to stay threatening. It means you've gotten him off balance enough. You've loaded up his upper body, and his legs are probably light, and you could start going on your own offensive cycle from there, right? But normally, people are going to base out just like that and get the try to keep their base, try to work back to the darce attempt. Danny's playing real heavy right now, though, over the top. Good transition to mount. Well, you swept him, so it probably didn't help his anger. Looks like he kind of just lets you have this one. I don't know why. He like sinks his leg underneath, just rolls through with it. There we go, standing guard break. So Danny really likes that. He likes this as an answer to the standing guard break rather than the standard double ankle sweep where you use the hamstrings against your opponent's quads to push them back. He retracts his feet fully and then like tries to step, the sole of his foot onto your hip and get the push there. Here he gets a little low. It looks like he got you off balance enough to get it like a double koji. But you can be ready for this and just like control, try to control the ankles and either redirect his ankles over the head, out to the side, all the way through, and possibly sit to mount. Although I haven't done that, so I'm not going to say it's a sure thing. Something we might want to try on him though. But yeah, he has completely disengaged his legs at that point, so he's not going to fall prey to the pinch of the knee that I advise you guys to do when someone opens their guard and tries to double ankle sweep you. But it's not without its own vulnerabilities either. In fact, you could I feel like you could prepare for both. Like, the knee pinch if you do get put down. Now you can so you're prepared for that, and now you can prepare for a push with the feet rather than a push with the hamstrings by getting your hands in a more ready position to take control of the ankles. What's he doing to you here? Is he just smothering you, like heavy pressure here? Or maybe a one-armed Americana? Or a wrist lock? I think he has a wrist lock there, yeah. Owie. Something. Never tap to that with him. Let that shit break. Don't let him have the satisfaction. I'm just kidding. Don't ever do that. So you're working to an S mount on Mitchell. And I think a double armbar him here. Something like that. Pressure on the shoulder. Okay. Dude, I didn't cuss, dude. You must have misheard me. Daniel throwing some good feints at Luke. But not good enough. Bro, watch your mouth, man. I'm gonna put you in timeout. Alright, me and Danny-san. Yeah. Yeah. Nah, Danny gets those sneaky wrist locks, and he Americana'd me like that recently, where I was just like, I didn't take it seriously at all. I was ready for it, or I was ready for like, I guess a more traditional Americana, but he just kept like cranking my arm up and up and up, and I'm like, oh, this is not good anymore. So I'm just gonna tap to this. Here he said, go ahead, go for the duck under. I said, nah. I snapped him down instead. And like, I had a feeling Danny was anticipating a lot of my normal game from here, which you guys should be able to recite it to me by this point. Block the arm on the go behind, drive the right knee in. I said, nah, I'm going to step my left leg over and lead with my foot instead of using my right leg and leading with my knee. I was thinking I really wanted to play around with crossbody ride. So I tried to hit that flip. He immediately tries to go on the offensive, and I just couldn't control his hips enough. So roll back up, go to the back, and go on my usual BS. That doesn't make him an alpha. That just means he's getting old, losing control of his bladder. We're gonna have to put him down soon. So again, trying to throw a little bit more unorthodox, not unorthodox, but just stuff I don't usually do, because Danny's wise to a lot of my game. So rather than arm trapping, or really rather than like doing the typical straitjacket stuff, Danny's got his right arm that you can't see up pretty high. You could kind of see his hand like grabbing my shoulder. Instead of trying to push that hand back down and control it, I pull it up and I keep it there really, really elevated. Step my leg over the shoulder, not with the focus on trapping the arm, but with the focus on going to the rear triangle. And then the reason I pulled that hand nice and high is for the rear triangle finish. You always want that arm up high, the elbow above the shoulder line where you're going for the finish here. So he leaves it up there, I keep it up there. I try to take advantage of it later. And now I think he gets more aggressive on me from here out. So Joe, you're on. There you go. Now you're into like a cross ashi. But you got to get Luke off balance. It's no easy feat. This is a spot where you're going to see me be really careful with where I put my hands as far as like tight waist grips, leg grips, all that stuff with Danny. As Todd was alluding earlier with his Darce attempts. Who, Luke? Certainly easier to elevate. Easier to move. Maybe you're just getting better, Joe. Luke is still hard mode. You're just getting better. I think we're probably about an hour and 20 minutes into this day too. So a lot of fatigue happening on the mat at this point. I mean, I'm doing exactly what I yell at you for doing, Joe, which is just kind of chilling in turtle position. But Danny doing a lot to try to isolate my arm and go on similar attacks, I think, to what he was doing to you guys earlier. And I'm really just trying to get out of these pins. He was doing an excellent job keeping me immobile. And yeah, that about wraps it up. Never get tired. That's because you never try to get tired. You get like 3 rounds and you're like, all right, I gotta go play Roblox. I'll see you guys later and study Finnish math. Anyway, cool. Thank you guys for hanging out. Hope everybody enjoyed their weekend and the open mat and all that good stuff. We are moving on this week to half guard. So next 2 weeks we'll be doing half guard. Bring your A game for that. And yeah, as I said earlier, Denata was getting coached by 2 purple ones. As I said earlier, make sure you're giving Gavin and Braden, you know, some good rounds, good advice. Help them this week. You know, if you're rolling with them, don't sub them. You know, we don't want them. No risk for injury or anything like that, but let them work out of submissions, all that good stuff. Thank you, Cole. Yeah, him or the 2 of them, and then Luke as well. They're competing this weekend, so make sure you're giving them your best. I'm sorry, I'll work on it. What else? I think that's about it. So get ready for half guard week. Follow us here if you like what you're doing. Thank you for the recent follows. Subscribe if you like what you're seeing. You can use your Twitch Prime for free. Helps us out a bunch. Doesn't cost you anything. And go subscribe over at YouTube as well, where we will post this for you to watch. I think that about wraps it up. We'll see you guys back on the mats this week. Go trim your nails and do your laundry, and don't be stinky. We'll see you at class. Take it easy, guys.